director of planned giving, and with my background, I'm an attorney and a stockbroker, and I thought that this training would not be beneficial and it would be kind of a waste of 2 days. And so those were kind of my initial impressions, and I knew probably within a half an hour into the seminar that I was going to get a lot of useful information out of this and that it would be worthwhile.
Probably the most useful is I think I have a much more systematic sense of how to go about this than I did before. I've been fundraising for a long time, and certainly before I go see prospects, we have discussions and we plan. But there's much more, I think, to a system to how you plan for these meetings than I thought about previously, and I think it gives a kind of intellectual structure to the process that I find very valuable.
Well, the genesis of this program was really Larry Stelter's idea, because he said, you know, what fundraisers really need is they need to learn how to sell, basically, and they need the same kind of consultative selling skills that salespeople do. So when we came up with the idea, we said, what is it that would help people who are in the fundraising arena understand how to get people to do things that they don't necessarily realize that they want to do? So to build the passion and to build the interest and to build the environment in which donors or prospects would be willing to do more. And we asked them, what are some of the skills that you need? And they told us the kinds of things that get in their way. We need to know how to open up meetings with ease and poise so that people want to talk to us. We need to know how to make people feel comfortable, how to get more gifts from people, how to make people come to that without feeling like they're being pressured. So what we did is we took what really works in the realm of selling, and we used good consultative selling skills, and we used the information that we got from our focus groups and our pilot, and we reframed the idea of sales training and put it into a context that fundraisers can use. And of course, over the years, we have improved the program, we've changed the program.
We'll talk just a little bit more about DISC in a minute, but I did put your DISC reports there in front of you. I noticed some of you are reading through it. This is more in-depth reading, and we may spend just a little bit more time talking about that, because the big news about DISC, and the reason why we do it in this program, is because we want you to be able to size up your donors or your prospects, or in some cases, the people that you work with who are going to be paired up with those donors and prospects.
Particularly important was being aware of different personality types and how we should interact with those kind of donors. So knowing my strengths and weaknesses, along with identifying their personality traits, makes us better able to adjust to our donor style. And it's us who has to adjust. It's not the donor.
Which behavior style do you think is the last to trust? C. And you know why? Because C's have a visual show me before I believe it. They're very data driven, right? Are there any other ones that you found on that list of 10 that you think are important? Yeah.
From a donor perspective, I think number one, the donors they'll trust you if you've taken the time to figure out who they are and care who they are.
If we take the time before we start telling our story and listen to them in terms of where they come from, what their value system is, what they believe in, what they don't believe in, it's really a gift that we give to people when we listen to them like that and find that out. And that is one of the number one ways to build trust with people, is to really just give them the time to care about what they think. So it's something that you've got to adapt to. How many of you work with married couples? Okay, some of them different sometimes, right? So what do you do about that?
It's tough, but you basically, you give them both what they want.
That's exactly right. I always say something in it for everybody.
What people tell us about why this workshop is great is because it's practical. I think that's what makes it unique too, because what we try to do is give people an opportunity to actually take material from their real working environment, from fundraising, and put it into a context with real life examples where they get to use those in class and figure out what would be the best way to influence people, manage their objections, get through those tough meetings with donors where they're pushing back, because really relationship building is all about communication and conversation skills. So that's the reason why we think it's unique, because it offers people practical skills that they can use when they get back on the job.
Building, the definition of relationship building is matching what's inside the donor in terms of what they want to accomplish and the opportunities that we have. So if we don't have an opportunity that's going to match what they're interested in, they're probably not going to give us a very major gift. But if we can find that one thing that they're really interested in doing, we're probably going to be able to get what I like to call a stop and think gift.
The most common response that we get from our participants who come to our program, the thing that they say is the most valuable, is that they got an opportunity to actually practice in a role play, which most people don't really enjoy role playing, but in the role play they get a chance to actually see themselves on videotape and see what it really feels like and what it really looks like to the donor when they're trying to use some of these good communication skills. They've also said they like it because it's involving. You know, a lot of times seminars and workshops and conferences that people go to are talking heads, if you will, where the instructor is lecturing for almost 8 hours sometimes. And usually it really focuses on the technical aspects of fundraising. There's a lot of those out there, and those are necessary. Those are things that fundraisers need as well. But our program's different because it's not so much about me telling them all the answers. It's me trying to give them some tips and techniques that they can translate into their own work that they can use, and it's very participatory. We have a lot of fun with the program.
I think the way in which we've done it this time with the deans and the senior advancement officers, the development staff, the director of athletics, that it's been a terrific team building exercise, and my sense is that it's helped people both clarify their respective roles in the fundraising process, but probably build a greater awareness of how they need to support each other in making things happen as well. So as an overall team building effort and getting everybody pointed in the same direction with the same knowledge base, I think it's very valuable in that regard as well.
I can say with a great amount of confidence that the relationship building workshop by far was the most influential in defining the type of development professional that I am today, and most influential in the style and the way that I approach donors, both respectfully and with intentionality, with enthusiastic desire to represent the institution, but to do it in a way that puts the donor's interest first, and that I really credit a great deal the philosophy, the strategy, and the outcomes of the relationship building workshop.